Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for the Monday Q&As. Now, a few of you noticed my beard has changed a bit again. My girlfriend trimmed it up a little bit and we started lifting it. I couldn't get through the full lifting last night because it was really irritating my skin. We'll probably finish that up today and we will change the color. So for those of you complaining about the green in the beard, the color is changing. All right, let's get to these questions. First question, could you make a sample of a 6-day-a-week full body routine? Thanks. All right, if you're talking about for hypertrophy purposes and you're looking purely at size, I wouldn't do 6 days a week on each lift or body part. In fact, what you're going to find if you start kind of going for more metabolic fatigue, you're not going to be able to do that 6 days a week. It's not going to work right. Your metabolic fatigue is going to accumulate too much, and you're going to start regressing in terms of progression. When we're talking about 6 day a week full body stuff, we're talking about Bulgarian style training where you are hitting training maxes and things, and there are already plenty of programs written on that, everything from Bulgarian light systems to Matt Perryman's squat every day to Jamie Lewis's chaos and pain stuff. There's plenty of those programs out there already for you guys. No one needs to really write anymore. There's good stuff already out there. But remember, if your goals are purely size and not necessarily explosive power and refinement of individual exercises to get a competitive advantage, you may not want to do full body 6 days a week. I would lean back in the direction of 3 to 4. All right, next question. Hi Jason, I've been watching a lot of college football lately, and as you know, it's football season. I see running backs with insane muscle bellies and physiques. Yeah, that's called genetics. These guys are around the ages of 18 through 20 years old and look like they can already own any natural bodybuilder today. I do understand they are genetic freaks that have no interest in bodybuilding. Could this also be due to a prevalence of PEDs in college football? Well, there's a number of factors you're seeing here. Most college football players have really good genetics. Bodybuilding is scrub genetics for the most part, even in the IFBB. People talk about bodybuilder genetics. I don't know. Bodybuilding genetics is just having small joints and a good response to drugs for the most part. Even the best bodybuilders out there don't generally have good genetics compared to pro athletes. No one with amazing genetics should be wasting their talent at all in bodybuilding. There's no real money in it compared to real sports. So that's one factor you're seeing. These are the genetic elite. The genetic elite are who you see in college level football and things in the United States. It's that competitive. Number 2, yeah, they're all on drugs. Definitely drugs in the mix. Number 3, they have really good nutritionists and coaches. They have them on very good training systems that are going to put a lot of size and strength on them. They do a lot of conditioning work. So they're going to end up with really good body compositions, particularly when you factor in the genetics and the drugs. So that's why you're seeing that. It's that combination of those 3 things. But the reality is, in my experience, working around college level athletes and having family members who have been NFL and current NFL coaches and things like that, anyone who digs around will figure out I'm not making that up. Most athletes in sports like that use a lot less drugs than bodybuilders do. In fact, some of them use less drugs than most natural pro bodybuilders use. All right, next question. Do you believe yoga on rest days would be beneficial? I'm not trying to become crazy flexible or anything, just as something to help with flexibility since I have not ever been at all flexible and lower back pain that seems to come and go with me. Wording's a little weird there, but to answer that, some people are going to say, oh, Jason, you're promoting fluff stuff. No, not really. I don't do yoga. My girlfriend does yoga. I don't really like it or have a use for it personally. However, for people who have trouble relaxing and need to de-stress, yoga on your off days from training might not be a bad idea just because it's calming and it reduces stress and you do some stretching and you get some flexibility work in there. I would think of it instead of really flexibility work, because targeted flexibility and mobility work is going to be better than yoga for that. You should think of it as more of active recovery. If you're struggling to recover and you're struggling with stress, something like yoga could help you de-stress and be a form of active recovery that helps you recover between workout sessions. So that might be where the real benefit lies for someone who's lifting. All right, next question. Hi, Jason. What would, in your opinion, be the best program to run for a late novice looking for overall size and strength gains? Would your linear hypertrophy program be okay for this? I was on your novice 5x5 program for the last 6 months, but I won't have that much free time as I will be attending college soon. Thanks and keep up the good work. Yeah, that's the other thing I remind people. The novice program takes a lot of time. I wrote the linear hypertrophy program as a program for people to use as a substitute for it who, one, either don't have enough free time to handle it, or 2, they're not able to recover from the total workload of it. For either one of those 2 people, the linear hypertrophy program is better. It sounds like you fall into one of those categories, so yeah, absolutely give it a run. It should work really well for you. All right, next question. Hi, Jason. Will using an over-under grip for deadlifts, also called a mixed grip, on the same hands cause any physical problems down the line? Thanks. No, it's pretty unlikely. As long as you're using good technique and form, it should balance out. Any minor muscle imbalances you get left or right from doing that should be made back up on your other work that is more balanced. Your rows, your squats, everything else. So no, I wouldn't really worry about it that much. Just continue to do it and everything should be fine. It beats all the other alternatives out there, such as using straps, which are going to weaken your grip strength, or hook grip, which is damaging to your thumbs over time. It's the better choice. All right, next question. If I eat well and do a lot of strength and cardio multiple times a week, will I be more healthy than most, even though I'm also consume vast quantities of alcohol, cocaine, and MDMA? That's a tough question to answer because a lot is very relative. I do know people who do a little blow or who do Molly who seem to be healthy even many years later. I'm talking people up in their 30s and 40s who've done this stuff much of their life, who have healthy lifestyles. But like with anything else, you don't really know how that's going to affect you. One person might do blow for 20 years and use little moderate amounts here and there, little bumps, and be okay. And somebody else is going to drop dead of a heart attack from it after 3 years, who also might have an otherwise healthy lifestyle. It's just too hard to say. I can't give you a straight answer there. I will say, though, that if your goals are optimal health, then you probably need to moderate these things and not be using a lot of them, or consider cutting them out completely. All right, next question. Hi, Jason. Does doing wide grip weighted chin-ups and overhand grip really make your back wider than closed grip and neutral grip? No, not at all. The people are thinking that way, but they're not looking at the anatomy of it. You're going to get most likely better overall development with narrower grips on these things because you have a longer range of motion. You're working all those muscles through a longer range of motion, so they have more potential for overall development as a result of that. When you're doing the wide grip stuff on all the pulling and everything, you are just trimming down the range of motion so that you can use more weight. It's not necessarily going to give you better development, and if anything, it can be a little harder on your shoulder joints over time. So I personally recommend more narrow grips on these things. You're more likely to get better back development that way. All right, next question. What happens when you go on a big refeed, then fast for the next day or two? Will it reverse the benefits of a refeed? What happens to that? You'll probably develop an eating disorder eventually, because you're getting into this mindset of training yourself to way over binge and then punish yourself after through a long fast. So this is probably the worst thing you could possibly do related to refeeds if you do not want to develop some sort of eating disorder that's going to require you to need therapy for it eventually. I don't recommend that you do this at all. Now, after your refeed days, if you want to have a slightly reduced calorie day from your other days, that's not necessarily a bad idea. But if you're structuring your refeeds correctly, you shouldn't even need to do that. You should just go back to your normal eating pattern after that and use the extra glycogen supercompensation that you got from the refeed to fuel your training to get a better workout. What you usually see after the refeed should be you go back to eating normal, and then you usually get your best workouts of the week afterwards because you have all that extra fuel to utilize for your training. You shouldn't be thinking in terms of then punishing yourself, because that's exactly what a fast does. And you even asking this question makes me become a bit concerned that you are starting to develop an eating disorder, or developing the mentality of an eating disorder already. Be very careful with that. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time in part 2.